Well, hello there. Welcome to Pearls Politics. Well, it's time for another exciting week of what's going on in top news, nationally and internationally. Okay. So, nationally, I got some updates this morning. It says on the Hill in the White House, around that Capitol up there in D.C., it says that explosive Biden corruption finally revealed. And from David Axelrod, we said it's very disruptive. If Colorado decision is upheld, of course, that is the Supreme Court decision regarding former President Trump that the Supreme Court was hearing today. I don't know if the decision has come down yet, but some of the team might know. But I'm pretty sure one of them has something to say about that. Also, Biden, again, they said, y'all, mistakenly claims that he spoke to a dead leader. In other words, I guess when he was delivering a speech, I didn't see it, but I guess at some point he was delivering a speech and named somebody dead again. Okay, and then internationally, that says that the United States intelligence warned Jordan outpost was vulnerable. All right, that's where we know that some of the Syrian and Iran backed groups, resistance groups that targeted the uh, the bases where the soldiers got hurt. All right. I don't know what the other team got to talk about, but that's just some of the things I will touch on tonight. But let's bring them in. We'll find out. Some of them might be the same. All right. The heartbeat of the South and every beat of my heart. My son, Tim Harrington. Hey, Tim.
Hey, Mom,
I'm
how's everybody doing?
all right. I'm hanging in here. We're almost there. It's almost Friday
Yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, and guess who made it just in time before we went to the green room? None other than Ziggy himself. Hey, Zig,
Hey,
how's
James.
it going? And now you're frozen again?
Yeah,
Poor Ziggy has so much trouble with his computer. He needs to disable his pop-up blockers. I think that's his problem. Like, all right, we're gonna proceed on with our girl and waiting up behind the curtains, Kevin
Hi,
CC Carlson. Hi, CC.
hey,
hi,
Kathy.
how you doing? Well, I
How
did
you
see
doing?
something. Good. I did see something about Biden not being charged for the documents. I just saw a headline. It said he
Ah.
wasn't being charged for the
Ah,
documents.
okay. I think I saw something like that yesterday too. But
Yeah, so,
I'll click on this link and see what's going on. But I was just kind of putting out those kind of like the most latest that's going
mhm.
on right now within the last 48 hours or so. All right, Zig, you got in. How are you doing tonight?
How you doing?
Hi, we're so glad that you went to sound. Let me go ahead and hit the Twitter right there. And I also got to put a message into the comment column so we can go out to our other platforms. Right there's Sandra, Sassy Sandra. Thank you again so much for your stars. Sassy is supporting that series. Thank you, Sam. Whenever we get ready to do it, at least the money will be there. Some of it, a little bit. There's just little small trinkles and streams, but within a year's time, who knows? Somebody might put some big stars out there. You never know. I just leave it there. All right. So, Tim, did you hear anything about the Supreme Court decision, the hearing today? Did they make a decision or not? Ziggy, did you hear anything?
I haven't.
Well, I'm waiting for them to have a press release right now in the background.
I hear you. I see you too. I got it going, and that's why you have an echo, cause you got another electronic going on in the room with you.
No, I don't even have the volume on.
uh, it usually doesn't matter. I have to turn my TV off, completely off. I tried that before too, and but yeah, even with the volume off, you just have to catch it. If you try it, I think that'll get rid of your echo if you turn it off. And yeah, your TV, yeah, try turning it off, and we can see if the echo goes away. I think they got it. No, I still hear it a little bit. So you can turn it back on. That wasn't it, Ziggy. Turn it back on. I still hear. Now that got it. Whatever you just did, that fixed it. No more echo.
I
but
can't
it
hear
mute
him
him.
now.
Oh, you turned
Leave it.
yourself off. Okay.
It's
Unmuted me.
okay. It's
Oh,
okay.
you
Just leave it
undid
like
it
that.
yourself. Okay, no problem. Well, hopefully you'll hear and get your
Well, I can hear
desktop
him.
fixed.
I can hear him now. Still, he's still creating noise.
Yeah,
That's
hopefully you can get your desktop fixed. Yes, son, to come over and fix it, but I'm pretty sure you messed up what it fixed because I know.
Now let's. It's not the
No,
same. It's not the same sound. Uh,
well, and I'm
it's
talking.
something. Yeah.
It
Okay.
reduced it. It
Yeah.
reduced it, but it's still there.
Yeah.
And I don't have a way to fix that from the studio because it's coming from his end.
Right. Yeah.
And the way that I would know if it was coming from the studio is that I would hear echo of me talking on everybody. And
Right.
I don't hear echo of me talking from you, Tim. I don't hear
Hmm.
echo of me talking to Kathy. So that's how I know it's not you guys, and that's how I know it's on his end. But
Gotcha.
anyway, let's get into our topics. So let's do, since we brought up Biden, I'll go ahead and mute James just a little bit until I can get this out so that the audience can hear it really clearly.
Yeah, that was one of
Um,
mine too.
I'm bringing it up. I'm bringing it up. James, I'm muting you. So, okay. I'm going to see what they're talking about on here. It says, so the headline is reading, and this is from Newsmax.com. Says Biden has sold America's soul. The unveiling tale of corruption and what could potentially lead to being the most significant presidential scandal in American history, even bigger than Watergate. President Joe Biden, the seemingly unsuspecting puppet, may have a hidden agenda. All right, it says that there is compelling evidence that suggests that he and his family have tirelessly worked to barter, that means trade, y'all, for the audience, America's future and integrity for personal gain and influence, paving a treacherous path toward billions in familiar with and perhaps even into the White House. So this is Dick Morris is talking. He says, "Hi, I'm Dick Morris, and he's not only a multiple New York Times best-selling author, but he's also one of America's most prominent political consultants. And of course, he's unveiling the Biden's family Chinese corruption network. Um, and he says that there's some intricate involvement in financial dealings with China that Biden and his family has been going on for some years, it appears. However, he is pushing people to buy his book. So I'm not worried about that. I don't, but that's not too much different from what we already know for sure about with Israel. You know, that we already know that the Israel lobbyists at the White House and up there on the Hill has been buying Biden ever since he was a senator for the past 34 years when he was, when he first got into politics. So that's not anything, new as far as him. I mean, gosh, 34 years, come on. Yeah, you can build up a lot of money in 34 years, right?
Hmm.
and hide it a lot of different places too. Yeah. Um, so, I don't know. But on the decision, oh, I'm not doing any stars. It's got me doing stars on my own self. Okay. So let's see. I'm on Tim. Do you want to Google right quick and see what is a decision down on the Supreme Court? Same Supreme Court decision on Trump down yet? James was waiting
I
for it
think
in.
James got. Well, he probably got more access than I got. I
Well, no,
just
I
went
can,
dead.
I can do it right quick myself then,
Okay.
and we can just feed on each other on it.
Okay.
Supreme Court, um, decision, UMP. Let's see what the headlines say. All right, so it just says that it's hearing about the 14th Amendment arguments, and apparently Um, the decision has not come down because the New York Times, and this was just 2 hours ago, is reporting that it seems likely to reject challenge to Trump's eligibility.
Hmm.
And so they are still deciding. And I know usually when the Supreme Court is hearing a decision, because now what I heard this morning is that they were giving their closing arguments. And a decision is never made until after closing arguments are done, right? We all know
Right.
that for any court case. So, well, the Supreme Court is not any different. And but the difference is on on the regular court is that normally a decision will come within either by jury, while they deliberate, or by the judge while he considers what judgment he's going to rule out. And it's pretty much the same with the Supreme Court. So if they just heard closing oral arguments today, the decision probably won't be down for maybe a couple of days at least. Maybe probably they usually like to do stuff they usually like to mull over it over the weekend, which
Yeah.
meaning the judges will probably take
Right.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and then probably come out with a decision on Tuesday or Wednesday. So it's not going to be anything immediate because they got to look at a lot of documents. They got to go back. They got to look at a lot of pictures and probably stuff, and they got a lot to do. They're not a mull
Hmm.
over.
Mm.
So yeah, they have to look at each point of the closing argument, testimonies. They got to look at all that. So it's not going to be probably anytime really soon on that.
Mm.
But but from listening to the points that were made from one of the reporters that was there, I forgot what station or paper he was, what journalist he was, who he was representing, but uh, I agree. I would have looked at the same points, the points that he pointed out, and that was uh, certain things for, because what they're trying. This is for him. For Colorado. Colorado is a state that wants to, um, take him off of um, the running
Ballot.
for
Yeah.
as a candidate, right? And a couple of other states did that, but then they changed their minds and decided just let him stay on. After he found out, that was after what's his name dropped out, um, the guy from Florida, DeSantis.
DeSantis. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
So
his
yeah,
name?
yeah, right. Yeah, right after DeSantis dropped out, these other two states that were considering doing the same things, they just up and changed their mind. I guess they say, well, nobody left but him now.
Mm-hmm.
So they
Right.
changed their minds. And for me, I'm kind of looking at Supreme Court is not really going to want to involve itself
No.
in anything like this, particularly a state matter, because Trump's defense attorneys argued that this would be a case that should be brought in the first place by the
Hmm.
Congress of the United States and not from a state as far as the candidate's eligibility
I
to run
agree.
in a state.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
states do not need to have that authority
Right.
you know. And I tend to agree with the defense on that point simply because it's not a state presidential election. It is
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
a federal presidential election, and therefore the feds would be the ones that would bring a claim or accusation or a case like that to a Supreme Court in the first place, right?
Yeah, and it's kind
So,
of like discrimination at its finest.
what was that?
I say it's kind of like discrimination at its finest too.
Exactly. Yeah, because now a state can bring a complaint, uh, and they lost at the state level. Now, what I'm saying is, and I'm pretty sure that this is the same inclination and conclusion that Trump's defense attorneys have, is that once the state lost at the state level, after they brought their complaint, they should have just left it alone.
Right.
But now they wanted to bring it to the Fed. So they brought it to the Fed and they lost at the federal level. So now they want to take it to the Supreme Court. I mean, why you just keep pushing it? Just kept pushing it. Okay, I guess they did it because they thought they were gonna win. All right, and so they probably say, well, three times the charm, so let's just take it to the Supreme Court, right?
Mm.
Mhm.
But three times is not always charm. And by them taking it to the Supreme Court, which is the highest court in the United States of America, the decision is going to be a precedent since no case like this has never been brought before in the history of the constitutional law or the cases of Supreme Court cases in the United States history. So this means that this is the first case of its kind that is being brought the, to the Supreme Court. And so therefore it makes it a precedent case. All right.
Yeah. That'll
So
be-
this will be the first time. Yeah.
And
So
the last. And the last.
yeah, and it'll be the last. Well, it won't be the last. And the reason why it won't be the last, it won't be the last only if the court sides with the state of Colorado. So if the court says that yeah, Trump should be taken off the ballot. No, and no, and I mean, and yes, he is ineligible, or no, he is not eligible to be listed as a candidate on a presidential ballot. Then what
Yeah.
that does, wait, what that hold that thought, what that does is open up the door for the other 49 states of America to always bring forth a claim against any future president for the next 100 years to 200 years down the road. All right. However, if the court says, no, we do not agree with you, the state of Colorado, that he is eligible to run for president and to be eligible as a presidential candidate, because why? The only requirement for you to be a candidate for the United States of America, as written in the Constitution of the 14th Amendment of the law, is that you can be anybody. You just have to be an adult, and you have to not have a criminal record. As of today, Trump doesn't have a criminal record. And because these criminal cases are taking as long as they are and have been taken, at 99, I'd be willing to bet you 99 point. I'm going to say this. I am 99% sure, 99.9% sure that none of those other four criminal state court, cases or federal cases will be decided before the November election. Because guess what? Do you know early primary election? We go to vote. We doing early voting right now in February. Our early voting starts right here in
Really?
Tennessee. Yeah, our primary. Our early voting starts February 18th.
Mhm.
Oh, that's early. Yeah,
Okay, all
that's good
right.
though.
So yeah, so that means that he's going to be on the ballot, and a lot of states have already done their primaries. Well, ours definitely done their primary. They were the first.
Yeah.
And so now we are doing our primary right here in Tennessee. And our primary ballot has him on the ballot as the a presidential candidate. Okay. So now
Yeah.
that's why I'm 99.9% sure that the Supreme Court is not going to want to
Yeah.
set any kind of precedent for this and
That's
say, and
that's what I was trying to state.
well,
um,
you gotta still let me wrap it all up, and I'm
yeah,
gonna
go
get to
ahead. Go
you
ahead. Go ahead.
because because if they do that, if they make that decision after all these people that already voted, how are they gonna fix it? You cannot go back and call all these people back that have already voted for President Trump in the Iowa primaries. You cannot call all these people back in February of this month of the people that who might vote for Trump and say, y'all vote don't count. Now, if you really want to have a nationwide riot on your hands, you do that. And I'm pretty sure to see when I say they got to mull over stuff, they got more to mull over than just that case. They got to mull over in their minds and look into the future to try to see that if they rule in favor with the state of Colorado, what kind of outfit, what kind of effect, what is going to be the effect?
Mhm.
You do something, there's always a cause, a action, and a reaction, right? How is the public going to react? They know, they got sense enough to know that if they would do something like that, you talking about a national riot. If they thought that January the 6th was an insurrection, if they were to do something like that, they'd have a national insurrection and rioting all over the cities and states. So that's the reason why I'm pretty 99.9% sure. Now, Tim, I'm taking it to you.
I think you covered my point. Um, I
But you
would
can
just
always elaborate, yeah.
Yeah, I was just simply stating that. I mean, the Supreme Court has enough on its plate already. They have a huge backlog as is. That I don't think that's a rabbit hole they're gonna go down in. Um, no, I just don't see that happening at that
Yeah.
level. Then yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah. And then, I imagine this is what I would say if I was a judge, and they probably have said it among themselves. Why in the world do we have to deal with these frivolous cases being brought before us when they're
Mhm.
really serious cases that
Yeah,
we need to be looking at that
right.
we're already behind on, right?
Yeah,
I
and
mean, cases involving
life and death. Yes,
murder,
life and
and
death. Right.
just in a whole lot of much more serious cases than a state bringing forth a frivolous case just
Yeah,
because this state doesn't like a particular candidate.
yeah,
Just
yeah. They're
because
gonna
you're,
they'll shut it down.
yeah, yeah, I mean, come on. If it's like, okay, it's like if I was living in the state of Colorado, I would be embarrassed. I would really be embarrassed to be a citizen of the state of Colorado because it's like, state, look, you cannot make a decision for me as to whether or not somebody should be on the ballot or not. If
Yeah,
they
I mean,
qualified to get on the ballot, heck, let them stay on the ballot.
yeah,
And if
right.
they
I mean,
win, they
just do.
win. If they lose, they lose.
Yeah, yeah. Just I mean, just like in any other presidential race, if you don't like the guy, you simply don't vote for him.
Just don't vote for them, state. Yeah, state officials, because it's the state officials, right?
Hmm.
You got the right not to vote for folks
Yeah,
just like the regular
it's
citizens.
that simple. It's that
But
simple.
it all goes back to what Kathy said. Kathy, about that CONTROL word. Talk about it, Kathy.
Mm.
What word?
C-
I'm sorry. You
CON.
told when it say it out, can't say it out loud, huh? What?
CONTROL.
Oh,
CON.
control.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't say it.
You said a little bit on it. You said a little bit on it last night, and then you said you were gonna talk more about it tonight on politics. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, hopefully, I mean, the Supreme Court, everybody there is cool, and no one has any, would make any decision that would cause riots or feuds in our country. So, but there's a lot of stuff going on in the White House where I think they wanted to cause more disruptions with us people here in the United States to distract from different things our politicians are doing. So, hopefully that won't happen though. But I have confidence that the Supreme Court, which is the highest court, is going to do right. I hope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as though their job is not already hard enough,
Yeah,
Right.
making life and death decisions.
So
right.
I'm gonna unmute James and let him get his 2 cents in on it. What you got to say on that, James?
Oh,
Can you hear us?
Oh,
he's
wait a
probably
minute. Hold on.
You-
with his eyes open.
Okay, what was it? Say it again, James.
I forgot what I was going to say. That train has left the station.
Well, you said something, and what did you say? Just repeat what you said. I
I don't.
said, what do you think about the Supreme Court? How do you think they rule?
Well, I think they'll rule against it.
Okay, so you feel the same way the rest of us do,
Hmm.
right? Yeah, great. Well, you're
I
easy to get along with tonight. All right then. So who has something else that you guys want
Um,
to talk
I
about?
think I got a little something. You know the case with the police officers in Manhattan. The prosecutor has announced that new indictments in that brawl are going to be brought up, but they have yet to identify all of the parties involved.
Well, the
Um,
audience may not know what you're talking about, so you're gonna
well,
have to tell us what about the case. What is this about?
the case was about, I think it was 8 migrants that the police officers in New York were trying to
Hmm.
apprehend, where they
Hmm.
were attacked by those immigrants,
Hmm.
and they were taken to court and released without um, uh, any type of bail bonds or anything. So they got no causes for their repercussion. They walked free.
Hmm.
People were highly upset about it because they felt that had it been them or what have you, not only would they be arrested and kept, they would be lucky if they weren't unalive.
Hmm.
And
So
now they're releasing them to
right,
court.
so after
Or
all,
killed.
right, so after all of the bad press and the upset of everybody about them walking free, and not only did they walk free, they gave the cameras the bird. So which really ticked the Americans off.
They
Um,
gave what?
they gave them the bird
They gave
What?
the
to the
camera
camera,
people,
the bird.
the press,
They
the
gave them
bird,
the
the
finger.
Oh, the
immigrants did.
finger.
Yes,
Who the migrants did?
the migrants gave the finger to the cameras.
Oh,
Migrants.
really?
Yes,
Ah.
so which really pushed Americans over the edge.
Mm.
And
Well, I
so
did see a little bit on that because, like I say,
it
y'all,
wasn't much.
I
Yeah,
watched all the world news and as national and international. And what I saw was is that now they were trying to catch him again. They only caught one, and they said that the other four are probably gone back over the border somewhere. They only caught one of them. They're supposed to have the one in custody.
right. And the damage has been done because you allowed that to happen and to release them. So that set precedents for how the rest of them are looking at it.
Well, I also saw them asking the mayor, the one that was out to get Trump, that had so much to say with his fat piggy self. They was trying to catch him. The news reporters was trying to catch him, or he was shooting out that hotel door. He wouldn't have. He didn't even try to talk to him. He was running from the press about it.
Yeah.
What's his name? Alvin. Al.
Alvin Bragg.
What was that? James.
Alvin Bragg.
Alvin
Gray?
Alvin
Bragg.
Bragg.
Bragg. Yeah, Bragg.
Right.
The Governor Bragg, yeah, he was running out the door. I mean, the DA. He was this district attorney, not the mayor. I'm sorry, district attorney Alvin Bragg. Thank you so much, James. Yeah, he was like heading horses, trying like El Toro out the door, wouldn't hiding
Yeah.
from the camera of the news people, right? Because they were asking him, well, what are you going to do about this? Why this man? Why did they go free? Why did you let them go free? Why did you let them go free? And he was flying, man.
Can you imagine all the phone calls and emails that he got behind that?
Well, you know what I told y'all about karma, didn't I? I tell y'all,
Oh,
karma is
absolutely.
a mother for you. Remember last year how he was all over the news camera, calling press conferences, talking about Trump, this, that, and the other. You know, when he brought the charge from the New York District Attorney Alvin Bragg. New York State District Attorney Aaron brought charges, filed charges, and he was talking. Yeah, the state of New York filed charges against Mr. Trump because Mr. Trump did this, Mr. Trump did that, and no one is above the law. He was all on press conferences and everywhere, calling this, scheduling press releases. He wanted to be seen everywhere. But yesterday, man, he was El Toro now. he was he was El Toro and out there. He didn't want to
Mm.
be seen. Yeah, so
Well,
yeah,
he
when they
probably
come,
didn't have any answer for his actions
of
either.
course he didn't. But see, you have to be careful about wanting to be famous, and you have to be careful about when you're trying to dig a ditch for somebody else. You might as well dig one for yourself because your
And
time is
jump
gonna come
yourself
around.
in.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
jump
now, yeah,
It,
now his
it,
time has come in, and he didn't even he forgot to dig a hole so that it would already be there for him because he
yeah.
was he's trying to find somewhere to bury his head now in the sand
like an ostrich.
because the citizens, the press, the mayor, the governor, everybody's on his butt now about this, right?
Yeah.
About those migrants, say. So
Well,
yeah.
maybe he got paid off. I mean, I don't really see any other reason.
Well, of
I mean, I
course
don't
you know
know,
he
unless
got
he
paid off.
benefited
Now,
some from it. I don't see why he would do
you
that.
know, now you know those Mexican gangs paid him some money.
Yeah, I'm
Try to
sure something happened.
send him some money to the Cash App.
Something like that happened. Yeah. Oh
That's why they
well.
love the mayor. The mayor, they claim that the mayor was getting money from the Mexicans. And look, they had these
Yeah.
immigrants. I actually saw the Mexicans in the jail. They had recorded this one Mexican that was in jail, a gang member, that was talking to his mother. He made a phone call to his mother, and he was talking about how much they love the governor of New York because as long as long as he stays in governor, he'll be home. He said, "I'll be home soon. I'll be
Oh
out.
God,
I'll get
that's
out."
crazy.
Mm.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we love Governor whatever his name is. I'm not gonna call it because if you don't know who the governor of New York is, look it up. But they
Mm.
was called they have his name all up, and they showed signs in the jail, the Mexican gangs, how they show the heart sign and everything, how much they love the government because he lets them out, let them
Well,
charge
in
them.
Massachusetts, they're doing things too, and the governor allowed it by closing down facilities, so making beds. So then, what happened in her case? Probably the same thing. I mean,
Yeah, so I
this is
guess I
looking like corruption everywhere,
yeah, what's done in the dark will come to light, and
Well,
right?
yesterday they had
that karma came around and caught DA Alvin Bragg faster than he thought it would.
Yeah,
You
it's a
know,
double-edged sword. Hmm.
He
It-
better buy some new running shoes with that
Mm.
money. God,
he too fat to run. You ought to see it, little piggy butt. I hate short fat men that got a fat butt and a fat stomach. God Almighty, I never cared nothing about short man. I'm 4 feet 8. I only been 4 feet 11 in my life, and all of my husbands were tall men.
yeah, a lot taller, huh?
Yeah. My last one was 6'5". Now you can imagine he was double my size almost. But I'm just saying, it's something about short men. They want to have power. They don't. Sometimes I guess they try to make up for their height or something.
Yeah,
They
it's a
want to be so important.
Napoleon complex. Yeah,
Yeah,
Napoleon complex. We talked
they
about
try
that
to be
before.
so important when they're not. And God, but you ought to see him. He looks a ridiculous fat mess. And y'all know I usually don't say anything about anybody, but this man right here, I just gotta see it. Because I looked at him, I watched him when he was in his glory, calling press conferences with his fat butt. And guess what? He was fat then, but now he's even fatter. And that's been at least 6, 7, 8 months ago.
Mm.
Yo, I'm just saying this. Since he wanted to be so important, not nothing against people that's overweight. But in this case, if he wanted to be in front of the public eye, he really needs to get on a weight loss plan. I'm just saying. Anytime you want to be in the public eye, you want to be so famous, you want to be this, that, and the other, all important VIP. You need to check how you're looking into the camera, because the camera don't
Well,
lie.
that's that he's stressed. He's stressed out. He been eating food for comfort.
Probably too many Pringles. He's
Yeah,
eating too
he's
many
stressed out.
Pringles.
Can you imagine? I mean, every day they're calling, they're emailing them, and they won't stop calling. They won't stop emailing. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I know
and
I'm not the only one talking about how they look, how fat he
right,
is.
and imagine a job the way you got to show up to. You can't
Yeah,
just take off. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
gotta
yeah,
suck big time.
yeah. But he deserved it because he had no business trying to go after somebody just because he had a little bit of power, and just to get some publicity, try to make his name well known. Well, you made your name well known, but now you don't want nobody to know your name all of a sudden, right? But we don't. James didn't forget his name, did you, James? Yeah. No hiding from it now, kiddo. Yeah. If you're gonna run with the Tigers, you better run with the Tigers. You can't switch lanes. You can't go run from the Tigers, go run with the Tigers, then try to run with the Lions, because the Lions ain't gonna have it.
Yeah.
The Lions
Now,
are the king of the jungle.
James did have something he talked about last night that he wanted to bring up today about New York.
Yeah. Come
Do you
on.
want to talk,
Come
James?
on, James. Yeah, you can talk.
Kathy.
Yeah, you wanted to talk about, the
Yeah,
payment of people.
70
Yeah.
people in New York City were arrested on a pay-to-play scheme.
Mhm. Can
Pay
you
to vote.
explain what that is? Pay to play
I only
scheme?
caught the
Can you
tail end of
explain?
it, and then it went off, and I went to look for more, and I haven't seen them no more.
Sometimes that happens. Articles disappear. Just have to
But
catch them
Like
when
that.
you see them.
but what was it about? Do you remember exactly what it was about?
About the election in New York,
Mhm.
they were saying it was corrupt, and they were ballot harvests then,
Mm.
and they were getting paid to do it.
Like
Ah.
which way?
Would
So
hold them.
harvesting, they were holding
Well, he
ballots
said, I
without
guess he didn't read
signing
the
it.
whole thing. Y'all stop
Yeah,
reading just headlines and start reading the whole article, okay?
You
yeah.
got the
No.
But see, I wrote something else, so I wasn't paying attention to Biden
Oh
specifically, to be
no,
honest.
no, 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 no. I just read off some headlines. I really wasn't didn't have anything specific to talk about. I just kind of read off some headlines to see if you all had something
Mhm.
about it. I said maybe they have something about it, but because I didn't see the press conference where Biden claimed that he spoke with somebody that was dead
Yeah,
already. but
yeah,
I but I don't doubt that he didn't do it, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
Shady
saw the
did.
headline.
that
I saw the
argument.
headlines too, so
Yeah, he
everyone
did.
probably saw 'em.
The guy that he was talking about was a German chancellor,
Oh yeah.
Helmut, a German chancellor
Uh-huh.
uh, named Helmut.
Oh, not our helmets.
No,
Not
not
Helmut,
our Helmut. But
not
this
that
guy
Helmut.
actually died 4 years ago,
Uh-huh.
prior to what the date that Biden was given, which
Uh-huh.
Biden was saying it was 2021 when he
Uh-huh.
spoke with him. But however, that couldn't be true because the guy passed 4 years before that.
However,
And
you shook
so,
hands with that person that wasn't
yeah,
standing
Oh
yeah,
my goodness. Well, and I'll tell you something else. And he looks extremely bad too now. Um, I mean he looks almost just like, how you watch these space movies and they show like the life leaving somebody,
yeah,
and it's just the the white moving motion moving out of him.
there.
He almost looks lifeless to me.
yeah. They just using them for his signature now.
Well,
Yeah,
that's what
yeah,
they were talking about with the press
yeah,
conference.
yeah. They've been putting makeup on him because he's pale as a ghost, and and I don't know if he's gonna make it to the election. I just saying.
Because he only makes it to the end.
Well,
I,
they keeping him
well, they don't keep his name on there because they got a body double. They
Yeah,
probably got two or three of them, but they
yeah,
don't keep his name on it.
he's constantly signing off on things.
We're gonna be like Norman Bates.
We
they'll
got to get
freeze
the
him
tree up. You don't
and
want
let-
to talk.
and let the double and let the double be the president.
Oh
Mm.
no, that's scary.
But he's not gonna win. They know he's not gonna win anyway. So,
What's the alternative?
but
Pamela to the end?
they know he's not gonna win. And if he
No,
were to pass away before the election, they would do just like I said. They ain't gonna tell that. They're not gonna tell that he died
but
before the
qu-
election is decided. They'll wait till it's decided, and then they'll announce it. They'll put him on ice until after
but
the election
now you
and
know
have.
quiet. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Now you go ahead. Now you know what?
Now quiet as is kept is some mumblings about possibly Michelle Obama entering
Doing what?
2024.
Oh, she
Running
have
for
not.
president.
She hasn't filed. She done
Yeah.
missed a deadline to file.
Has the deadline passed?
Oh yeah, been gone.
Okay, well
Yeah. See,
it's just talk.
I read she doesn't want to do it.
She doesn't. I don't
But
blame her.
she
She
can't
did
do it
eight
now
years.
anyway. The deadline is gone. They had to file by last
Yeah.
November.
Yeah.
I mean, who wants her anyway?
Well, a lot of people might, James.
I don't.
Well, I know you might not, but a lot of people don't. We're not a one-sided show. We have to look at both sides. We are objective.
Her
But
husband will be next
I
on the list.
understand. I mean, you can state what you don't want. That's fine. But then you just have to realize that a lot of people out there might want to, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we are objective show. We're not a subjective show. We don't just talk in favor of one, this and that, and the other one. We talk about everybody, good, bad, and the ugly.
Yeah. I mean,
The fact
does
that
everyone know that it's this 2-year anniversary of the Ukraine war, and that Tucker Carlson
Oh,
is
I did see this.
interviewed Putin today?
Well, I saw that the Congress held up the bill again. The money didn't pass, so Ukraine won't get no money, and Israel won't either.
Oh,
Yay!
okay, great.
Yeah,
get
they
Well,
it
just
because Biden had a Ukraine pin on his chest.
who did?
By Joe
Biden.
Biden.
Well,
Oh,
oh
really?
yeah, more power to
Yeah.
'em.
Do
But
you
yeah,
want me
the
to tell
Congress
you
held up the money. We're
a
gonna
little
take a
bit
break.
what happened?
We're gonna take a break,
Okay,
and we'll let you come back and talk, Kathy.
oh,
Okay.
sure.
All
Okay.
right. So we're gonna take a break, you guys. Take a stay. Share the show. Those of you who are watching, probably I know you're not in the comment column. I don't know where you're watching from, and you may not show in the chat box either. The reason I check, I know that people watch from different places, is because when I go on and look at it, and over the next 2 or 3 days,
Hmm.
we can see that they are coming. I can see where that they come from the other platforms. They just don't show them on Facebook, and sometimes they don't show them, um, and they don't show them even in my stats on Facebook. I have to go to each individual other platform that we broadcast on to see how many came from this platform, how many came from that platform, and I just don't have time to do it all the time, hardly any of the time, right? But
Hmm.
thanks to all of you that are watching, and those of you that watch on replay. But for those of you that are watching now, stick and stay. Don't go away. We're going to be right back in just a little bit, okay? Well, actually, we'll take about a 4 to 5 minute break. We'll be back.
Science has taken a major leap in the battle against thinning hair in the new topical treatment called More Hair Naturally 9. Why? Stem cells. This triple stem cell formulation may help repair and rebuild the major hair components that produce hair. Most people who experience hair loss may not realize, but damage can be done to those hair components due to DHT buildup and other factors. The old approach of DHT blockers, stimulation, nutrient supplementation is fine, but often that's just not enough. Stem cells can take it to the next level. This new natural treatment also contains Redensyl, Capixyl, and Bicapyl. These breakthrough ingredients stand alone in terms of documented success. But guess what? All three are contained in the new More Hair Naturally 9 formula. And there's more. We have several peptides designed to help fight DHT, reduce inflammation, stimulate cell production, and much, much more. In fact, More Hair Naturally 9 addresses almost every cause and symptom of thinning hair currently known to science.
Imagine if the world was free of violence, hatred, fear, and greed. Imagine if our hearts were light and peace reigned in this world tonight. There'd be love and kindness too, and not just for a chosen few, but for everyone, everyone passing through. Sure, the gods would all be pleased and bless us in this sweet release. No more pain and poverty, no more blood and war and grief. Peace, won't you come on in? Peace, won't you come on in? Peace, won't you come on in? Sing it again, sing it again. Peace, won't you come on in? Peace, won't you come on in? Peace, won't you come on in? 'Cause we can live as one. I believe in my reoccurring dream. Love replaces hateful deeds. And who's to say this cannot be? Hey, peace, won't you come on in? Peace, won't you come on in? Peace, won't you come on in? Now imagine if we understood the way of love, if we just could do everything for the good. Well, then peace would rule the world. Since time began, there has been a need for love to rise up and succeed, and for peace, peace to reign upon this war-torn earth. And since time began, man's one great wish is to live in peace. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. Woo, woo, whoa, whoa. Come on in.
Hi. All right, we're back. That was our good friend JoJo Smith, who lives in Australia, performing artist. I love that song. I sing it around the house, and I decided that until the war ends in Gaza, I will play that every politics show that we have. And she is such a great musician and such a talented person and such a good person, spirited in heart. She's musical talented, plays trombone, drums, guitar, and that voice of hers is just off the charts. And she has a new album out that uh, I gotta start putting it on our ticker tape banners too. She sent it to me. Beautiful songs. I just wish there was some way I could play it in the studio, but I don't because it's only audio. But anyhow, I hope you enjoyed that. And peace, we definitely need some peace to come on in, not just internationally, but right here at home. So bringing in the rest of the team now. So that Kathy has, well, we lost Ziggy. Where'd Ziggy go? Ziggy got disconnected again. All right,
He's
Kathy, bring
missing
it
in
up.
action.
He'll probably
Okay.
pop back in.
Well, I guess this was a pretty big interview because Putin hadn't been interviewed by Western people in a while, and also, um, also Carlson, Tucker Carlson was criticized for wanting to interview Putin, but it did happen. It said on 2/8, which is today. So first of all, let's see. They call it a rare interview, and I read from the Guardian, and
Hmm.
it said that okay, and they also said that Carlson's a Trump supporting right wing commentator.
Well, he
So
is. Yeah, I know him.
yeah, who frequently criticizes U.S. support for Ukraine. And so the first Putin interview filmed in Moscow since, Russia invaded Ukraine on February 22nd, which is 2 years ago. And it also says that Putin did give, kind of like a political speech for 30 minutes of the history of Russia, Lithuania, Poland, and the Ukraine from the ninth century rule, even of Oleg the Wise. So I want to look up Oleg the Wise, even though he was like a ninth century. I like to do that. And the struggle of the 1300s through a critique of Lenin's foreign policy. And then when Carlson finally got Putin back into the 21st century, it says Putin accused the U.S. and the other Western countries of prolonging the war in Ukraine. He said there were peace talks with the Ukraine that were almost finalized. I mean, I remember reading that. And Putin said, but then Ukraine threw away all the agreements and obeyed the instructions of the Western countries, European countries, and the U.S. to fight Russia to the bitter end. So that's his opinion about it, is they interrupted the talks. So so that's an important issue of how another country can view us. And Carlson did at least press Putin on Ivan Gershkovich, which was the Wall Street journalist reporter who'd been detained in Russia since 2023,
Mm,
March 2023, having
yeah.
been accused of espionage while and which both him and the journal deny. But Putin said Russia is ready to talk about releasing Gershkovich, but see, this is where things happen. They take somebody to make a point, and in this case, they took him and kept him probably to make a point. Putin added, "We want the U.S. Special Services to think about how they can achieve and contribute to goals our special services are pursuing." So he's just wanting people to kind of get together, kind of again, which I don't know Putin personally, so I don't know, but
Yeah.
I'm just giving what he said. So then also Carlson brought up a good point about he wanted to stay away from English language media outlets because he felt they were corrupt, and he was early notable defender of Russians' invasion of Ukraine in the beginning. So I remember that too. And the week following the attack, Russia state media played clips of Carlson's rants about Ukraine and against the U.S. providing military aid to the country. So when he was, speaking, about it, they were playing his recordings in Russia. So also Hillary Clinton said Carlson was a useful idiot.
Mm.
And Russia's Russia is one of the world's top jailers. Also, I just wanted to bring that up because it was in the article of journalists in 2023. And Putin's full-scale invasion of Ukraine also sped up the crackdown on independent media, and protests of military wives just happened. Remember, you were talking about how there was an upsurge, going to be an upsurge about the war in the
Yeah.
military wives near
Hmm.
the Kremlin this week. So, but they arrested 20 journalists. So there you have it. There's both sides of the story.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. If you want to see that interview, it's on YouTube. I watched a little bit of it this morning.
Did you?
Yeah, Tucker
Okay.
Carlson talking to Putin, and I've watched many of Putin's interviews. But Putin is got very sensible man. That's the reason why Trump got along with him pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
here's the deal: people don't know the history of the Middle East. The Western people over here in the United States do not know the history of the Middle East, and until
Right.
they learn and read and learn the history of the Middle East, they're gonna always be negative towards the Middle East. But the fact of the matter is that Ukraine was a part of Russia, until the United States butt their nose over there, and
Mm-hmm.
and caused all the uproar and caused the war and got it all divided, the same way they did with Israel in 1948 when they got the Pakistan divided up, and gave Israel half of the country over there. So until they know the history of the Middle East, they don't really need to take a point unless they can actually verify. I mean, know what they're talking about. Because if you, they talk about what they read in mainstream media news. If it's coming from the U.S., you're not gonna ever get but one side of it, and that's the reason
Mm-hmm.
why you have to read the other international side of it, to figure it out for yourself.
Mhm.
Because if you
Mm-hmm.
read both sides, you can figure it out for yourself pretty much which country's telling the truth and which one's telling the lie. Now, having said that, people used to gang up on Trump, even his staunch supporters, gang up, beat up on him because he had a good relationship with Putin. But as they can see, as long as you can communicate with a person, and Trump is very knowledgeable. He knows a lot about the Middle East history, and when you know the other person's story, then you know how to approach that person. You know what I'm saying? And so Trump knew how to approach Putin, which is why Putin respected Trump, and still respects him. He didn't fear Trump. He respected them
Mm-hmm.
because they could make respectable and agreeable solutions to any problems that arose. Uh, but if you're gonna be an idiot and just don't like the man, don't like the Middle East, don't want to know the history, don't care about their history, how do you think you're gonna approach the man? You can't approach him. He's gonna approach you the same way you approach him, right? And so
Right.
that's the reason why none of these other presidents have been as successful as Trump has in communicating with these other world leaders because
Mm-hmm.
Trump knows the history. He reads. Trump reads a lot and he watches a lot of television. He loves
Well, do you
TV.
think he could stop the war then? Because I think that the Kremlin said he couldn't in an article I read. So I don't know. Do you think
Who
he could
could have
stop
stopped the war?
Trump? If Trump was the president, he could stop the Ukraine
Oh
war.
yeah, he would definitely stop it
Yeah.
because he would
Yeah,
because he wouldn't send another red cent over there to Israel.
yeah, that's
Mm.
true. That's how he would stop it. But
That's how he stop it.
Yeah.
but it was funny the way they did say that, Russia came back with
Yeah, well,
comments
the
like he.
Republicans are the ones that stopped this in the Congress. That the funding,
Mhm.
they hold up the whole funding bill because of the fact they don't want the money, more money to go to Ukraine and none to go to
Right.
Israel.
Yeah, and we have to remember that Putin was not a politician.
And
Um,
Trump wasn't either. And
right,
then
exactly. So
Putin
they
was
were
a spy. Putin was a spy.
right. He was a spook. Hmm.
He was a spy. That was his career.
Right.
So the man
A
got
lot of people in
And
Russia
and and
have
Trump
that as a career. Yeah.
and
yeah,
Trump was a businessman.
and
So
Trump was a businessman. And spies and businessmen always making deals.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So that's the reason, I mean, both of them were knowledgeable and they respected each other
And
space, you know what I'm saying?
right. And I think it has a lot to do with both of them knowing when to put their ego aside
Oh yeah,
to come
yeah,
to a deal. Yeah.
yeah. And Trump's a tall man and Putin is a short man. Putin is not much taller than me. I would say probably about 5'1" or 5'2".
Yeah.
Wow.
But
Yeah,
he's
he
dangerous.
Putin is very short. He's a dangerous
He's
man.
dangerous
Short
though.
men are dangerous, a very dangerous man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he does carry an ego, but by him being a spy,
Right.
he learned how to control that ego, you see.
Exactly.
Uh-huh. He knows when to use and when not to use it. And he's very strategic.
Right. And
And
Trump is the
and
same
Trump
way.
is strategic too,
Hmm.
you know.
That's why
So
they have a mutual understanding and respect of each other.
yeah, and I did not have a problem with it because everybody was talking about when he was
No.
over, when Trump went over to Putin and over to Russia, they was talking about how he didn't stand up for the United States, seemed like he was sucking up to Putin. The man wasn't sucking up to Putin. That's what I was trying to tell the dumbest then. It was like he was in that man's house. When you go to
Right.
somebody else's house, you gotta respect their house.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
And yeah, you're right. And a
You
lot
don't go
of
to
it,
nobody else's house, start no fight.
right,
Yeah.
right,
That's what Americans probably wanted. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what they want. That's what
A
they always
rumble.
do. Americans will come to your house and start a fight.
They
And
will.
right.
that's
I know when I was in Japan, they were the loudest people in the bar by
yeah,
far.
exactly. So, politics, it's politics is really basically common sense.
Hmm.
And it's craziness as well.
Hmm.
Right.
Because if a person gets goes down the wrong side, gets so blindsided that they can only see one side of a story, they already lost. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And
And
that's
that's
why I keep my shows objective. I want to listen. I want to learn. I may not agree with you, but I'm gonna respect the fact that you feel or think the way you think. You know, but it's just gonna always be a but. It's like they always say everything that comes before but is BS.
mm,
But that but is still gonna be there. That but got to mean something, because it's just lines that you don't cross, and you got to know what those boundaries are.
Right.
But is a big word. It's a three-letter word, but it's a big one. That
mhm,
but that but is a big word, and so that's the reason why Trump can get along with all of these foreign companies, countries, all but Kim Jong Un. He tried to get along with Kim Jong Un. Kim is short too. Now Kim,
Yeah, but he can't even get along with his sister. Kim Jong Un can't even get along with his sister. So that's telling you
yeah. So
something.
everybody, but so that wasn't Donald's fault, right? Because Kim is just
Yeah.
Kim, right?
Mhm.
Kim can't get along with his own family, so
right.
he can't get
And
along with
No.
nobody else.
and right. And nor did Trump make us a speckle or a big thing about it.
No, he
It's
just
basically,
brushed it. He just gave him a nickname and brushed it on off.
right, right. Either I deal with you or I don't deal with you.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So
But Kim respected him. He stayed in his place.
oh
He didn't
yeah,
shoot. He didn't fire not one missile while
no,
Trump was the president. He done
right.
fired all over in South Korea, and now he done
Well,
made press conferences and told South Korea we are former enemies. Yeah, he wouldn't have done that had Trump been here. See,
Well, this has a lot to do with it. Your reputation follow you even before you get to the destination.
before you step in the door, your reputation has
Your
already
reputation,
preceded you. That's
right,
right. So
right.
that's the reason
So,
why people use that line. Oh, well, pleased to meet you. Your reputation precedes you,
hmm
and that's the
Right.
truth.
Exactly.
The
Hmm.
right,
reputation precedes because I've gone into a lot of places, and normally, when we do filming and we've been on sets or going to events or do red carpets. I introduce myself and people will say, "Oh yeah, yeah, I've heard a lot about you. Yeah, I already kind of I feel like I know you. That feels good.
Hmm.
yeah,
If Sybil introduces me to someone, and it's, oh yeah, I've had people tell me your reputation precedes you, and so you have to keep your reputation intact,
yeah,
and that's why I
and
stay objective. And
right,
you cannot have a good reputation if you go one sided. If you're always blindsided, easy to get blindsided, and I always just take one side, no matter what, on different topics, subjects, categories. When you're doing talk shows,
right,
anyway,
yeah,
uh,
and
you won't succeed. You just won't.
right, and I mean, the more I look at it, the more similarities I can see of Putin and Trump having mutual respect of each other.
Yeah,
They came up through the ranks. It was just
yeah,
different ranks.
different ranks.
But
Yeah.
however, it wasn't any politician that got them to where they are.
You're absolutely
You see
right.
what I
They
mean?
weren't bought.
They
They
weren't
weren't bought
bought.
and paid for. Neither
Exactly.
one of them.
Exactly.
And they had that in common.
Hmm.
They still have that in common. They
Yeah,
not
they
bought
got
and
a lot
paid
of
for.
similarities. Yeah.
Hmm. And the rest of these presidents have been, yeah. So, and even I said James didn't come back, so I guess James might have even got a little upset with me because I said, well, maybe you don't want her, but a lot of people out there might would want her, you know.
Yeah, don't worry
But
about
yeah, yeah, you gotta stay objective. I
it.
mean, he said, well, I don't. Well, okay, James, yeah, you don't. Tim probably don't want her either.
Well, she,
You know.
she her thing was, and I think she wrote part of this in her book. She never had any intentions on being in the White House more than 4 years, and
Well, she was just there because of Barack was there. I heard her say that.
yeah,
She had no interest in politics whatsoever before
right, and
he
she
even
did. She
got in
really
it.
did. Yeah, she really didn't want to do that second term. So
No, and that's the reason why he didn't.
hmm
I mean, he had to, but I'm just saying, she really didn't want
nah,
it, because I know I saw an interview with him and her, and they were asking him that question, and
hmm
he looked over at Michelle like, and,
hmm
and she was like, "Don't look at me." When they was asking, was he gonna run for
hmm
the second term,
hmm
and then he just kind of segued on to another subject, got off the topic,
right,
with the interviewer. So, but
right.
yeah, you gotta stay objective. I mean, it's okay to voice your opinion. He said, but I don't. But James was real serious. He said, I don't. Yeah, okay, great. We got that. We heard that. He said, "Who wants it?" But yeah, James, somebody might want it. Okay, we have to always realize out there what we like, somebody else like. What we don't like, somebody else don't like. But what we don't like, somebody else likes. And
Mm.
and what we don't like, so on and so on. Y'all know how it goes. Just stay objective always, and we can voice our opinion. But make sure you have that but. Follow it up and say, yeah, well, I understand that, it could go the other way.
Mm.
Or either I will intervene and add or subtract and say, yeah, well, it could. That we understand that, and we're not claiming this or whatever, But yeah, we have to keep it objective and make sure that we cover both sides. And that's what, talk shows are not really journalism, but when you think about it, that's what a good journalist is supposed to do. Good journalists have to be objective. And that's what got they say that that's what got Tucker fired, but I'm telling you something. That's not what got Tucker fired from Channel Fox from Fox News. because everybody on there is far right. Okay, so that's not what got Tucker Carlson fired. Because I watched Fox. I used to watch it all the time. Him,
What got him fired?
Hannity,
Hmm.
and bad relationships between him and the producer of the show.
That'll do
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah,
That'll
yeah,
do it.
yeah. I don't know how tall he is. It could be short, man. But I'm gonna tell you something about producers of shows, and I'm like that about my show. No one, I've watched Tucker and I've listened to Tucker, and I don't really like his style of reporting. Uh,
Hmm.
and maybe his producer spoke to him about it. Maybe he was getting some complaints and he didn't want to accept it. Or it could have been that Tucker was trying to take over the producer's job.
I think that's more likely.
Yeah. Now, I'm like that about my show. I'm the producer of all of my shows. You don't take over my job.
Yeah.
Okay? But I do know for a fact that it was bad relations because this happened way last year, and I've been following it ever since. Being far that news article that you read about them saying about how far right winged he was, it was the cause. That wasn't the
Mm,
reason that he got fired from Fox News at all.
mm,
They
mm.
just used that because they didn't want to tell you the real reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you know it's always tends like that when you got a person that you can't control, you know what I
yeah,
mean? And Tucker is
yeah.
not one that you can control.
No, you could tell by the way he did his shows
Yeah,
that he's very arrogant. I
yeah.
could tell that just from him, you know, giving his segment.
Yeah.
And then when he did his interviews, even with his guests, man, he was very arrogant, and he would only agree with his guests that said something that agreed with him. And he would like really want to just almost
Well, then
like,
he must be a narcissist.
yeah,
He's
Yeah,
always so
he is
he's
really,
he
really,
is.
so wicked,
he really, really full of
but
himself. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's very, very
Uh
narcissistic.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you either it's all or nothing with him. You either take all of him or you take none at all. And I think they had just got to the point they bit
They just
out
got
way.
fed up with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they bit out way more than they
And
could
I tell
chew.
you somebody else who was starting to be just like Tucker, but it really changed his tune after Tucker got fired, and that was Hannity. Hannity was going down that same road because him and
Mm,
Tucker were buddies. And he
mm.
was he had those same traits coming out
You talking
on
about
his
Chris?
show.
Chris?
N- No, this is Hannity. No, I don't know who you
Not
talking
his
about.
brother, right?
Hannity is not his brother. I don't know what Hannity's first name is off the top of my head.
Okay, I know Chris
The
is his
name of
brother.
his show is Hannity, Hannity.
Mm, okay,
Yeah, no, so I don't know if it's his first name or his last name. I just know the name of the show.
gotcha.
But anyhow, I do know that they hung out together because you talk about it on the show and stuff, what have you. And but he was heading down that, beginning to portray those same characteristics and traits of Tucker. Uh,
mhm,
but then when Tucker got booted off,
Hmm.
man, Hannah made 360 back to his old ways real
Yeah,
fast, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I used to watch it. I don't watch it anymore. I don't even watch Fox News anymore because Donald got fed up with him too. you know, I don't know if he's still mad at them, but Donald got mad at them too. I mean, and they were his biggest news channel supporter, really. But he got mad at them and started talking about them real bad. They lost ratings
Mm,
and everything. And he went to Newsmax, and that's where he is now. So I don't know if he's still mad at Fox News or not. But I know I don't watch Fox News anymore because I really don't like the reporters on there anymore.
mhm.
Anyway, yeah, I think I really was just kind of watching it just because Donald would be, you know, on there because he would do phone interviews with Hannity.
mhm.
Hannity would come on at 8 o'clock, and I'd be hurried up, get down to the studio so I could watch Hannity. He's on weeknights. You can check him out. Kathy, if you want, sometimes on Fox News, Hannity broadcast that's
Okay.
8 o'clock, 8 o'clock every weeknight, and then
Mm-hmm.
you can see what I'm saying, and you can find out. Let me know if they if they're still talking about. Well, you wouldn't know if Trump was mad. I'm gonna have to research that myself. I'll send
Yeah.
Donald an email and ask him myself if he's still mad at
Okay.
Fox. Cause
Mm-hmm.
Tim, I got an email from him. I told
Really?
Kathy
What
I
did
read
he
it to you. Wasn't a
Oh.
message, a phone message or an email message about. I read it to you yesterday or the day before when you called me, that Kathy, right?
Oh, you might have said a little bit about it, but I can't remember
Yeah.
now.
Well, anyway, yeah, it was on my phone, and but anyway, I every now and then I interact with him, but I'm not like I one of the people that we did know that that's all they could talk about all the time, 24/7. I'm not like that.
Mm-hmm.
Not like Donna knows me and I know him, but that I talk to him. I'll interact with the emails every now and then. Messages, okay, yeah, I might reply back, but other than that, uh, because I don't want to be involved. I do not want to be in no politics. I just want to talk about them, okay? Because he sent me an invitation to do something. He wanted me to be some committee back here about 3 years ago, and I didn't even answer it. He mailed it to me. It was a whole pack. I didn't fill it out.
Ah, that's something.
Yeah, he wanted me to be on some big head up some kind of committee. Yeah, he wanted me to head up a committee in this vicinity for Memphis for
Wow.
for the Patriots, for the Republicans.
Mhm.
I didn't fill it out. I just it's like okay, th- th- I like politics, and I don't care if they know I like politics. It's just like this calendar right here. I told y'all I get this from Congressman Steve Cohen sends me a calendar every year, and he and I, we've talked, and I have his number, he has my number, but I don't want to be on no committees that you got, Just let me talk about politics, and I'm happy. Yeah, and let me support you, and I'm happy. Okay, because
Yeah.
there's some Democrats that I support, and there's some Republicans I support. Just like there's some Republicans I'm not gonna ever support, and it's like some Democrats I'm not gonna ever support. I've had Republicans on my show. I've had Democrats on my show. Uh, but that's just me. But some people they go straight sided. They just go straight one way. They're gonna vote Republican. They don't care what the people's record is, or they're gonna vote straight Democrat. They don't care what the uh
Mhm.
what their record is. I'm an independent. That's why I like being an independent. Is that I can support some Democrats and their platforms that I like. And their policies or whatever, and I can support some Republicans that I like. And I don't have to support the Republicans I don't like, and I don't have to support the Democrats that I don't like, and that's the way I like it.
Yeah.
That's
Now
why
the
I
only
can't.
thing is, in some states you can't really vote for some candidates
But
when
in
you're
the
an
general
independent.
election, you can in every state.
A general one. Yeah.
In the
Mhm.
primaries, you can't. Now, in the primary presidential elections, in primary presidential election, you can only vote straight, one or the other. But in the general election, you can vote uh, either Republican, Democrat, or Independent. And you
Really?
know that
In all states? Is
in
that
the
the case?
general, yes, the
Hmm.
general election is the final election.
Hmm.
You know that. That's in November. The
Okay. Yeah.
primaries are happening every month, every week, up until probably like I think 30 days before uh, the general election, because every different states and cities have their primaries at different dates and
Hmm.
different and in different months. You know, so everybody don't do primary voting, presidential primary voting in the same month or in the same week.
Hmm.
We only do general election in the same month, which is November, and it's always the main day is always on the same day. I think it's November the 2nd this year. So it's only one day. But they do, but each state and each city and each county do have the early voting times. Okay, so they usually do early voting 2 weeks prior up until the day of the November 2nd election. So, but yeah, that's the way that goes. So if you're gonna, you better find out when your New Mexico is doing the early voting. If you want to avoid long lines, because I don't like long lines. So I always early vote,
Yeah.
and I will start here in Memphis, Tennessee, Shelby County. We start next week. I mean, on the 18th. That next week might be the week after, but I know it goes through the 28th of February. So, and it usually lasts about 2 weeks. So, it's the 7th. It begins the 17th or the 18th. But I will be getting my vote in. So don't y'all forget to vote, Memphis. that's my
Right.
that's my closing. Tim, your closing words.
Great show. Everybody keep the faith. Hold tight. Help us on the way.
Yeah, we got some comments that came in here too while I was running my mouth. What we got? Oh, those are old comments. Okay. Yeah, Kathy, closing comments.
Yeah, just basically, let's just see what happens with the Biden thing and just report on that with the Supreme Court
Yeah.
next week, hopefully, right
Okay.
next
Okay.
show.
Well, you're gonna report on that next week. Okay, great. That'd
Okay.
be great. Okay. And my last closing word is this: free thought is a philosophy, not a policy. All right. That's our time, y'all. Good night. We love y'all.
Good night.
Sorry we went over time, Kathy,
Good
but
night.
No, it's okay.
I
I'm
I just
fine.
I
Okay.
just got wrapped up. Good night, everybody.
Good night.